Okay, today we're going to look at a radius throat, radius heel elbow, but we're going to look at one that drops down. Okay, we're going to look at what's called a drop elbow. So if we looked at a sketch of it, we got our standard radius throat, radius heel elbow, and let's say it's 8 by 8 on that end, and let's say it goes down. And last year we looked at this number. We could change that and have a transitioning cheek, but let's keep that at 8 for now, and let's go down to 4 inches. Okay, so we're dropping. We're looking at the depth number now, and we know that okay, this elbow is falling or rising or something. It could even be on center, changing on both cheeks, but we know it's changing. So let's put something in there, let's say flat on top. Okay, so that means the elbow is sitting flat and the bottom is rising up. Okay, we could also have it flat on bottom. Now, really important to indicate, to know which one it is, because those cheeks are going to end up backwards if you're not sure of what it is. Okay, so let's look at that one. Let's say we're flat on bottom. So what I've done, I've drawn out the flat cheek here. Okay, and that's our starting point. I didn't include that in the video because you've seen it before. You saw it last year on the duct fittings. I also have some S and drives and seams on it, so a little more advanced because that's what we're going to see out in industry, right? We're going to be using seams and connections. So let's do this one. We're going 8 by 8 to 8 by 4 flat on bottom, meaning that top is the one that's dropping down. Okay, so maybe we're going around beam or something, but we got to lower the run down. So it all starts with this one here. So first thing we're going to do is grab our divider. Now we could use our dividers, or we could just use our drafting arm if we have it, or if we're blanked out. And let's just do that because we always look at things like how we do it in the shop, and I need to get this to I want to bisect the heel and throat, so I can just draw 45 right through my drawing here, and what that's going to do is cut the heel and throat in half. Okay, so I want to get a half distance here. Now I'm going to do some labeling. Let me change colors here. I'm going to do some labeling. I'm going to label it A, B, C, D, E, F. And those are all these points here. Inside our seams, because we always do everything inside our seam allowances. And those are, I've made up some points here to actually create some triangles. So let me fill in those so we can see what we're looking at there. And I'm going to create a triangle right at the base here, ABC. It's going to be my starting point. Okay. So now we've drawn in these triangles here. That gives us the ability to now triangulate those. And we can triangulate them based on the amount of drop that we're going through. Okay, and let's call this, let's just say this is 0% of the drop at the start, where it's flat. And we know that this is the full drop. This is 100%. So our midway points have to be 50%. This is 0. This is 100. So we go 0. We got 0 drop happening. We got half our drop done by this point. We got the full drop done by the end, of course. Okay. Now the percentages are good to get an idea of what's happening here, but what I like to do is sub-label, and I'm gonna move this C and D outside here. So let's put D here and C out here, so you can see it good. I want to sub-label my points to how much drop has occurred by that point. So I'm going to sub-label A and B 0. I'm going to sub-label C and D 2. And sub-label E and F 4. Because again, that's my 100% by that point. Full drop. So now what those tell me is, if I go from any point, I got a line here, say BD for example. And if I go from 0 to 2, I got a 2-inch drop in that section. If I go from C to D, from 2 to 2, it means it's flat. C to F is a difference of 2. So that it shows me how much drop has occurred at each spot. And all of these have a 2-inch drop or 0 drop. So A to B is nothing. That means it's true length. So if there's no drop in it, then we're seeing actually what that line truly is. We're seeing the true length there. So true length, true length, true length, not true length, so on. So if we have 0 to 2 or 2 to 4, we have to triangulate that. Okay? So let me scrub off my shop drawing because we're ready to develop our pattern now. So I'll get rid of this one to give me some room. The first item I want is a true length diagram. Now the base here is just arbitrary. It's just as long as you think you need to fit any of these lines in there. This one is our 2 inches. Okay, so that's what we call a half drop. Because all of our lines that need to be triangulated have that half drop with them. Okay, I moved my pattern over a little bit. I'm worried about the room I have here, so I've squished it in a bit on my true length diagram, but we should be fine there. So I started with baseline AB, which is a true length here in our elevation view, and I want to create point C off of that. So I'm going to triangulate to find point C. And again, it's like any triangulation where we're stacking, we're building triangles. We're building one triangle after another. So let's go and pick up AC. And we'll throw it in here. We'll just label that AC, and then let's go BC. Okay, so there's 2 of our lines we need. We also need BD. Okay. Now, if we look at, say, AC here, is the same line as CE. So we can label that one CE. And BD is the same as DF. And we have BC, which is the same as CF. Okay, so there's our 6 lines we need. The rest are going to be true length because we've put in every line that indicates a drop from 0 to 2 or 2 to 4 into our true length diagram. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6 lines there. The rest, like we said, are going to be true lengths. Okay, so let's start building our triangle. We're going to create point C first. So we want AC, true length of AC. swing that from A. True length of BC, swing that from B. There we go. Point C. Next we'll go and create point D. So I want true length of BD. And here's my triangle that I'm building. So now I have to go CD to finish it off, which CD is our true length here. We'll come in CD. And there's D. Next one, DF. So true length of DF. And it's a bit of a guess where these are going to land. So you want to have a significant arc there so you can land it. And then true length of CF. That one just barely nicked there. So that's point F. And then CE. And FE to finish it off. Which is again one of our true lengths. And hopefully I get that one. Look at that, it's on the stretch there. So let's take and draw our triangles back in here now. Okay, there we go. So now we have those 4 triangles, and you can see it's not 90 anymore. The shape has really changed, okay, and that's because of that drop. Everything's elongated. It's gotten longer, and it's pulled it off angle. But when we bend that and kink it, it's going to bring it back to a 90-degree elbow. So the last thing we need to do now is create the heel and throat arcs, okay, and we do that by geometric construction, and we're going to use the technique from last year, running an arc through 3 points. Okay, so that one, what we're basically going to do is bisect the lines between the 3 points and create perpendiculars. Where those perpendiculars cross will be our radius point. Now you can go ahead and go back to that chapter in last year's book if you'd like to refresh on doing this technique, but we take a distance of about 3/4 the length of the line, and we swing from left and right to create intersection points. And that creates our perpendiculars. We bring those through. And that becomes our radius point. So I'll get set back up on my compass here. And now if I pick up from this is my radius point now. Pick up here to point, I'll start with B. And it hits there, hits there, hits there. Okay, so that gives us a nice curved arc there now. So sometimes it works out as the same point, and sometimes you have to bisect that twice. 1, 2, 3, and this one is the same. There we go. So that, besides adding on our seam allowances and our S and drives and things like that, that's our completed draw bevel. Thanks.